A blessed fiesta to us. This is always my constant opening salvo whenever I come to this solemnity, of course, the Immaculate Conception of the Blessed Virgin Mary. It is always interesting to note that if I ask you, if you count 9 months from now, from December 8, you count 9 months, what date would that be? Siyam ka bulan gikan karon, September 8. Which birthday is that? Mama Mary. And this is the very solemnity we are celebrating. Nga naman, daghan paghihapong mga tao nga nagtuo nga karon atong gisaulog ang pagsamkon sa mahal nga Birhen Maria. Imagine 17 days after nanganak na siya. Aw hinuon, there's no impossibility because there are always miraculous acts of God. And this is the very significance of today's celebration. We are entering into the dawn of our salvation. Ang kaadlawon sa atong kaluwasan. And what is the role of the dawn in the natural, in the environmental movement of things? Unsa man ang papel sa kaadlawon? Siya maoy magdala sa adlaw, sa kahayag. And this is a very beautiful symbol of the Blessed Virgin Mary's role in the salvation of humanity. She is the dawn that brings the sun to the world. And of course, dawn is also very significantly understood with our religious practices. We call the procession that is done at dawn called aurora. No? Because aurora is Latin for dawn. And this is the very beginning of the definitive plan of God taking into action and even fulfilling in its first steps and its first moment through the birth of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Today we celebrate her conception. But if you notice, our gospel reading today is at the Ascension, the Annunciation. And when is the feast of the Annunciation? This is actually like about dates anyway. Unsa mang pitsaha ang pista sa Annunciation? March 25. And if you count 9 months from March 25, what is the date? December 25. Very good. No? So there are two important angles that we are celebrating today. Of course, at the very head of this angle is the conception of the Blessed Virgin Mary by Saint kinsa may inahan ni Mama Mary be? Saint Anne. But then the gospel reading speaks of the Annunciation, which leads us to the feast of Christmas. Anyway, these two sides or these two angles of the very significant event takes its context as one of the perspectives in the very words that the angel Gabriel said to Mary. The opening salvo says, "Hail, full of grace." We're familiar with that, right? We always pray the Hail Mary or the Ave Maria. And then the next words that the angel said, "The Lord is with you." Have you ever wondered, kining apulong o kining expression, every time we celebrate any sacrament or any sacramental in the church, this is always the opening greeting. The Lord is with you. Asa manigikan, apart from this context? In the Old Testament, there have been two citations of such a greeting. The first one being cited is in the book of Judges, in the story about Gideon. And Gideon was greeted by the messenger of the Lord, and the messenger of the Lord said, "The Lord is with you." The second citation is a greeting that Boaz gave to the harvesters of his crops, of his land, of his farm. And he was greeting the harvesters by saying, "The Lord is with you." And these are two significant Old Testament contexts, because to greet "the Lord is with you" is to make the people greeted by such a greeting a realization that the Lord is among us, that the Lord is constantly with us. But this third citation of "the Lord is with you," which is from today's gospel reading, from the Gospel of St. Luke, is more than just a reminder of God being or among us. Because this is a very special connection to the Lord, the Son of God, to be in the very womb of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And that's the reason why the Annunciation, which is already the realization towards the peak of what God has promised, is actually about the God among us, the God being with us, the Emmanuel that the Gospel of St. Matthew is talking about. He is constantly with us, and in a very beautiful image, above us, below us, on our sides, in front of us, and even at our backs. And this is the great protection that we constantly crave, that we constantly ask. And the Blessed Virgin Mary is the very threshold of such a presence. And through her humility, she accepted everything when she said, "Behold, I am the handmaid of the Lord." And so the Lord's presence in our lives, among us, among each other, is also a constant reminder that He can always be very much felt and experienced through humility. Kay unsaon man pagpakita sa Ginoo kung kita mapahitason. It is only through humility that God can actually be out of the picture. We are only carriers of the word. That's why every time we hear the salutation, "The Lord is with you," now what do we say? What do we answer? "And also with you," and with your spirit. And this is a very beautiful liturgical experience, not only inside the chapel or the church or the cathedral or the basilica every time we celebrate the Mass, but this is also something that we can use wherever we are and in whatever time of the day, of the year, of the month it is. It's acknowledging the presence of God in our lives, precisely because we are created in the image and likeness of God. And so, the Lord be with you. Amen.